September 11th, 2001. Americans have a vivid memory of where they were and what they were doing on the day America was attacked. I was in elementary school. When I got home, a friend ran to my house crying. Her dad, a firefighter, was sent to New York to search for people. There was a new feeling of uncertainty and fear, and no one knows those feelings better than the first responders at Ground Zero, like Roseville Fire Chief Rick Bartee. Those feelings shaped who he is today. September 11th, 2001, a day no one will forget.
Get out of here!
Nearly 3,000 lives were lost in the deadliest terrorist attack on American soil. It started at 8:46 a.m. when American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City.
Oh my God!
17 minutes later, another plane hit the South Tower.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
And thousands of miles away, firefighter Rick Bartee watched in horror.
I knew right then and there that we were going there.
At the time, Rick worked for the Phoenix Fire Department and was part of FEMA's Urban Search and Rescue Team, a nationwide task force trained to respond to emergency disasters. 9 days after the attacks, he was at Ground Zero.
So that would have been the first time I'd been to such devastation and destruction. It's as surreal as anybody else could think. 3 or 4 square blocks down on the ground.
Each tower, once 110 stories, reduced to rubble. Rick and his team got to work, searching, holding out hope they would be able to find anyone alive. Through the dust and dirt, Rick's disposable camera captured buildings people once worked in, left unrecognizable. The ground beneath him so hot his feet would burn through his boots. Rick found himself in the middle of the 24-hour operation, sifting through the rubble by hand.
There were bucket brigades, lines of 100 people, looking in the bucket as it goes past.
The buckets collecting signs of lives lost, rings and watches.
From notes people ever writing to each other that didn't burn in the fires to just everything you could think of.
Sometimes he just stood still, listening for any call for help.
There were times where you wanted to put the camera in there that hole and hopefully see somebody who might be alive.
Day and night, Rick carefully moved mountains of debris. When one day he noticed someone closely watching, a man hoping his sons, both first responders, would be found alive.
One was a police officer for NYPD and one was a firefighter for FDNY.
Rick and his team never found them. They didn't find any first responders alive. But they did find the remains of men and women who gave everything. And in those moments, everything stopped.
Everybody stood still. They put them on a gurney or on a Stokes basket, put an American flag over them, and then brought them out, one by one.
A lesson he passed on to fellow firefighters.
Respecting that every single piece of dust, dirt that you're on and crawling through, that it sometime could have been a person. Respect the fact you may not ever find them whole, but something of them is there. Just helps build a little more resilience to the fact that you're here to do a job, you're here to make a difference at the end of the day, and no matter whether you found somebody alive or not, people are thankful for you doing what you're doing. You don't look for that praise, we don't ask for that praise, but folks are very thankful that you came to help.
22 years later, Rick is now the chief of the Roseville Fire Department and one of the leaders of the FEMA Urban Search and Rescue Task Force. And this year, again, he found himself in the middle of a disaster, the Maui fires.
We had over 2,000 structures that needed to be searched. And the objective given was to search every single affected building that we can get into with a specialized K-9 to search for victims.
Again, holding on to the lessons from 9/11.
So I gave the same philosophy I gave in New York. That as you're walking through the ash or through the rubble, you respect that rubble and have respect for the land and for the people who live there.
Chief Rick Bartee knows it's a privilege to help families. Their fire trucks read, "Our family, protecting yours." The heartbreak and horror he has seen remind him that life is a gift.
Whether it's going to 9/11, whether it's just coming to a regular day at the fire station, any day something could happen to you. It could be the last time you get to say hello or goodbye to them. You just always have to reflect on that. It doesn't take tragedy of that size for something to happen. So just keep that in perspective.
This attack continues to terrorize many of our heroes. Dust clouds loomed over New York City for days. And while Rick says that he is cancer-free, More than 31,000 9/11 first responders and survivors have been diagnosed with the disease.